Good morning and welcome to the free training on Netflow Analyzer. Before we begin, I just wanted to confirm if you could hear me fine and also see the presentation well and good. If yes, then please do comment on the webinar chat panel available. I will wait for some comments to come in, after which we will start with today's presentation. Just a quick reminder, if you can hear me fine and also see the presentation well and good, then please go ahead and drop your comment yes or no on the webinar chat panel, after which we will be proceeding with today's presentation. Thank you for the confirmation. So I'm going ahead with the presentation again. So any questions you can always drop in the questions panel available, or also yeah. So a quick overview of myself. I'm Deepak Suresh, your trainer for this series. I am a product specialist with Netflow Analyzer. We handle new prospects coming into Netflow Analyzer and also assist existing customers with any queries or questions regarding our product. So with this knowledge, I would like to share some details on Netflow Analyzer so that if you're coming from an older version, it will be helpful for you, or if you are evaluating the product, so you get to see the advanced functionalities in Netflow Analyzer in today's part. So talking about today's presentation, it's going to be the second part of this two-part series. It's called as the advanced functionalities of Netflow Analyzer. So today's agenda looks in such a way where we first start with what is Medianet and Multicast monitoring. We will be talking about the IPSLA monitoring available in our product. We also talk to you about the capacity trend reporting that's available, where you can check how your application has been growing in a given point of time. You also will be looking into application visibility and control, which is available in our product. Gives you a clear, in-depth detail on how your layer 7 traffic has been utilized. Traffic shaping, as the name suggests, we have this feature to shape the traffic according to your requirement, like business critical or so you can do that just right from our product. You can also look into the wireless traffic monitoring that's available. So WLCs, if you have in the network, you can have that monitored with us. We have a dedicated feature for that. And we also will be looking into one of our key features with Netflow Analyzer, which is the advanced security analytics. So what we do here is we will be able to identify if in case an alert or an attack comes in. So we'll discuss about that. And also we'll be talking to you about the deep packet inspection, where for devices that do not support flow export, you can have a packet capture and look into the details. So with this being said, let me, final topic would be distributed monitoring. Yeah, we do support distributed monitoring that's available. So you can have that viewed as in how we do that with our enterprise edition. So with this being said, let's go ahead right into the first topic for today, which is Medianet and Multicast monitoring. So what we do here, or where do you actually use these at the first case? So starting with Medianet monitoring. So where you would be using this, or where would it be helpful for you, is that in our day-to-day basis, we do use rich media to communicate, let's say, with your clients, or if you're going to do a presentation or so. In that case, you do require rich media that uses both voice and video. So this Cisco's Medianet technology allows you to have that check to see if there is a lag or any performance issues with the jitter, packet loss, or round trip time. So this is what our product does. You can analyze each application that uses rich media, and we can report the performance based on key features like the jitter, packet loss, response time, all of that. So going forward, I will be switching back and forth with the product and also the presentation. So again, a quick review. We do have a set of our product panelists who will be able to assist you with any questions related to our product. So anything that I go ahead and take, or if you have any queries with any topic that I take across, you can just go to the questions panel and drop in your questions right there. Okay, so coming to Medianet. So this is our demo site, just to give you a quick idea. So how we monitor that is that if the flow packets if your device supports Medianet, the flow package will already contain the information of the rich media. So any If the device supports that, we do have a tab within that. So you go to the interfaces under the inventory, you select the device, and there you go, you have the Medianet tab. So what happens here is that you will be able to see the traffic for each application that has been using which media, which is audio and video combined. So you get to see that information. It's talking to you about the traffic, what the source and destination was, what was the application that was used, and what are the media packets, or how many packets was used, and what's the volume of that traffic that is there. You can also choose between different categories here. So let's say if I need to look into the jitter parametric, I just click on it, and now it will talk to me about the jitter. So it will talk to me about the three major things, which is the maximum jitter, minimum jitter, and also the jitter average. So you can look into this detail. If you see that it's going to be high, you can have that sorted across. Similarly, you do get the information on the round trip time. So this is going to report on the round trip time, and if in case there's going to be any packet loss that's come up, you can see how many times that has happened. So not just that, we have a dedicated tab for the packet loss. So you can see that right here. You can see the packet loss, how much percentage it has been when compared to the overall packet loss that has come up. And if you want to see the top conversations that's happened, simply click on it. So this is going to give you a complete overview, all of that under one single roof. So it talks you about the packets, the jitter values, and also the packet loss, all of that under a single page. So this is for in data. You can also select out data to see how the out traffic has been for this particular Medianet traffic. So as you can see, Medianet allows you to do this parametric, doesn't look into your rich media, so that you don't lose out on the performance when it comes to your media that is there. Talking about multicast traffic. So what exactly is multicast, you might ask? So multicast, or IP multicasting, will let you as a user to send packets to a specific group of hosts. An easy example is this particular presentation that you've joined. So I am the host. I'm sending out the packets to a group of hosts, so who are connected to this particular webinar. So this is going to come under the multicast traffic. So again, if your device supports that feature, you can have the multicast check. And why you would be having the multicast check at the first place is because several organizations have the normal traffic and also the multicast traffic. So they set it up in such a way that the multicast traffic does not cross a particular threshold. So they've set up a limit for that. It should not cross it, or it should not go beyond a particular, like go below a particular limit. So that is where our product will help you out with that. So let me quickly show you how it is. So again, if your device supports the multicast traffic monitoring, then you can show that here. So you, same way, just like how you had a tab for Medianet, you have one for the multicast. Just make sure you log into the interface here, select multicast. So now you should be able to see the traffic. So this blue is the regular traffic that comes up on your network, and this orange, as you see, is the multicast traffic. So let's say you've set it up to something like 0.5 and it's not crossing that. You get a clear idea of how much it has been. We can also, again, just like how your regular traffic is, we can report based on the volume, speed, utilization, and even the flow packet count. So we will be able to report on these three details for every single conversation that's happened over the multicast traffic. So that's about multicast. So now going to the next topic for today, IPSLA. So what is IPSLA? Why you would be needing this is to monitor specific parameters. So let's say you are an organization, you do have Avaya phones. So IP telephony is something important because almost every single organization use that, and you need to make sure that the IP telephony that you're using should work with the best performance metric that is available. So what are the performance metrics? Again, it's going to be like the jitter, the packet loss, the mask score, any latency. So all of these can affect your call quality. So with IPSLA monitoring, you can have that monitored with us just to make sure that you get the best performance out of your VoIP, out of your WAN network, and your video network. So let me give you a classic example to actually kickstart what is IPSLA monitoring. So we have three divisions here, let's say, on your environment. So you have a development center that is somewhere in New York. You have a service provider that's like, again, the same city, but somewhere else. And you have your headquarters that is, let's say, back in another state or so. So you have the connection that is there. So what happens is the development center, they have IP phones, and they are going to be connected to a particular switcher router. And that goes through your internet gateway, goes through the service provider, and Using the WAN connection, you have it connected to the other headquarters that is available on your other site. So as you can see, you have IP telephony that's there. You're using a system that is going to communicate with the video or audio that is there, and you also go ahead and use multiple computers. So three major metrics right here. As you can see, the phone, that's going to be IP telephony, video from your video like the webinar that you take, and you have computers that are connected across WAN. So how do you monitor them all across one network? So there comes the IPSLA monitoring. So we have three metrics, as I told you. We have we have VoIP, we have WAN, and we have video. We'll start with WAN performance. So what is WAN performance? Is first you need to understand that you need to identify the network paths with high round trip time, because if that's going to be high, then the having the WAN connection would be useless, because the connection, if it is shoddy, then you will not be able to go ahead and have work at peak performance. You also need to identify the outage that is happening by viewing the hop-wise latency graphs, because not just round trip, you also need to look into the latency. If there is a delay in the packets that's coming in, that's going to affect the performance. And what we do here is that we collect the IPSLA traps for events such as connection loss, the threshold violation for round trip time, and the average payload and information like that. So you might ask, okay, I need to do this, how do I do it? So that's when I'll be talking to you about the WAN monitor, which you need to add first in order to look into the traffic. So first, you need to look into what are the prerequisites. So you first need a Cisco router with IPSLA agent enabled. This is a must. You need this Cisco router in order to do this. And also the Cisco router iOS version must be 12.3 or later. So it's going to be the newest version if it's well and good. You also need the SNMP read, and very importantly, you need the right community configured on that device. So why we need that is to write the commands to, like, there's a command that we write, like IPSLA responder, and that will send the packets to us, and that's how we monitor. So that's how it works. So how do I add it? Is very simple. You go to the inventory, select the IPSLA tab. There are three metrics, as I told you. Select the WAN. There is a plus icon right across the page, and you just give in the details. So let me show you how you do that. Again, steps again. So first we go to IPSLA, select WAN. You already have an add WAN monitor, or you can simply click on this plus icon here. You can click on the plus icon here. That's going to add your WAN monitor, and you can give in your name, select the device you want, and select which interface you're going to work with. And again, if it's going to be WAN monitor, it is important that you need to have a Cisco router as the destination. So you give it a name, and you can simply select it right away. So once you've added it, let me actually talk to you about what are the metrics that is required, or sorry, what are the metrics we actually look into. So once you add it, we will be able to report to you based on the RTT times, the round trip, and also the errors based on that. So it's going to talk to you about the threshold, where it's violating, whether it's a success, whether it's failed, or if a violation has come up, we can talk to you about it. We can also talk to you about the history of how the round trip has been. So if it was high, if it was low, what it is. And availability is a key feature that we monitor, where we talk to you about things like if a packet loss has happened, or if a sequence error has come up, a connection error has come up, or if the data was available or not. So all of these under one single graph. You also talk to you about any round trip time history. So if in case a round trip time path hop is happening, and if it's going up or down, you can look into it. So you can change the values. You might have a question, how do I change it? It says today. Simply expand it, and you can go ahead and change it. You have the time frame right here. You can select any time frame of your choice. So that was on the WAN monitor. So you have key features there. So I'm talking about the second one, which is VoIP performance monitoring. So as I told you, VoIP, voice over IP, is for your Avaya phones or anything like an IP telephony. So you use that to monitor your phone networks. So what are the metrics we monitor? It is first jitter, which is the variation between the variation delay between the arriving packets. So if the packets do come in, there is going to be a delay. But if the delay is going to be high or low, that's going to be the jitter that we're talking about. And latency, as the name suggests, it's going to be the time taken for voice packet to reach from A to point B. So that's the latency. There can be packet loss also. So when a packet is coming in, if it's lost halfway through, then that's a packet loss. You won't even get the audio. And based on these scores, based on these details, we give you a score that's called as the mean opinion score. So the standard, what is it? Is the standard for measuring codecs, and it is rated on a scale from 1 to 5 that is there. So let me show it to you on the product. So again, go to inventory, sorry, go to IPSLA, view IP, click on the add, and that's going to give you the VoIP monitor. So again, same process, given what router you want, what is the interface you're looking into. Here you need to specify the port range that you're looking into. So we already give you the port range, just give a number based on that. And you have the destination IP, which again is going to be a Cisco router that is 12.4 or above, and you would be able to see the IPSLA responder that's enabled. So once that is added, let me show you what are the metrics we monitor under VIP. So VIP, this is going to give you a lot of data. So as I told you, it's going to work with jitter, round trip time, and latency. So starting with the MOS history, so it's going to give you how the mask score has been on a scale of 1 to 5. So you can see that the minimum and the maximum. You also get to see the information on the as I told you, it's going to talk to you about the mask history. It's going to talk to you about what is the jitter that has come up, positive and negative jitter. So all of that listed out there. You can also see it based on two metrics. So it's going to be destination to source and also source to destination, because the packet is going back and forth. And we'll be also looking into the latency history. So how the latency has been, the minimum, maximum, and average. Again, this is going to talk to you about the destination to source and source to destination. We also talk to you about the call path availability, where we see the success and errors that have come up, and packet errors. So again, if a packet is coming in late, or if it's MIA, then you can have a check on it. Round trip time history, the packet loss. So as I told you, almost 7 to 8 different graphs talking to you about the key metrics on IPSLA VoIP. So with this being said, you might ask me, why do you need video performance monitoring in the first place? So as I told you, just like Medianet, organizations now are using videos to promote the product that they sell, or even use video calling or so to talk to the clients. So video is going to be one important metric. So as you can see, it's going to be a major part of the network that you're working with. And with the IPSLA's video monitoring with our product, you can make sure that the rich media applications are working on peak performance. So how do we do that? Is we first let you understand the IP service levels. You can increase the productivity of your entire network. Also, when you make sure that it's running on the peak efficiency, you are going to see a lower operational cost, and also the frequency of network outages, because you get a clear picture of how the network is performing. And if in case you need to do a troubleshooting, you can just come to our product, you can have a check, and based on that you can work with the troubleshooting that's there. Now, talking about video monitors, just come to the IPSLA page again, go to the third one, which is video. So same metric again, if you need to add it, just give in the details. So once you add the video monitors, you can now see the information of how or what are the metrics that we monitor. So first, it's going to talk to you about how long the device was available, talks to you about the jitter details. It's going to talk to you about the average input-output jitter at the source and also at the destination. It's also going to talk to you about the latency. We have a graph for that. Packet errors. So as I told you, if it's going to be packet loss, if it's coming out of sequence, things like that. And availability, whether if it's available or if there was internal errors coming out. So all of these features are available with the IPSLA. This is an add-on, just to let you know, any version of Netflow Analyzer that you go with, this is an add-on with the product. So with this being said, let me talk to you about the other detail, which is, just a quick rundown of what it is. So WAN, the key metrics monitored are availability, round trip time, and path hop round time. For VoIP, it's going to be almost 6 metrics: availability, MOS, the jitters, latency, packet loss, and call path availability. On the video front, we will talk to you about the availability, jitter, latency, and packet error. So a quick recap. And again, just to let you know, any questions, please feel free to drop your questions or queries or any doubts that you have on the questions tab. We have an expert list of panelists who are ready to assist you. So you might ask us, how do you plan the bandwidth requirements and how to limit the usage of non-business applications? That's a good question because a lot of organizations come up with this at the moment. So this can be done using the capacity trend report that is available. So capacity trend, or we call it the capacity planning, how it works is, as the name suggests, it's going to measure and manage your bandwidth over a period of time. So you can select something like 7 days or a month to see how your application has been growing or declining, and based on that, you can work with your network needs. So if it's going to increase, you're going to increase your bandwidth capacity, your routers maybe, so you need to look into that. So this will now give you a clear idea of what are your future needs when it comes to your bandwidth front. So let me show you how it is. So you go to reports, you have this capacity planning report. So as I told you, this is going to read the flows, identify the applications, and it's going to report based on that on a given period of time. So you get almost every single option available in a product, like the interface, the IP groups discussed before, and the wireless LAN controllers, all of that. So let's say I'm going with interface. I'm selecting a particular interface. I'm looking into volume, and I'm saying, okay, I need to see last week's data. I can work with business hours if I want to, or if I want to exclude weekends, I can do that. That's an option I have. Data points are for 1 minute and 5 minutes each. So you have an option here to generate the report. So let me go ahead and generate and show it to you in a real-time information. So, okay, my bad. Let me try to select some other device. One moment. So it's going to look into the data last week for this particular device, the new one I've selected, and it's going to report on the volume as of how the application has been growing. So as you can see, for the last week, it's been a particular detail. So you have the 1 minute average that's talking to you about it. You can see the traffic metrics for each day, how it was for both in and out. We show you a standard deviation graph, average usage per day, both in and out. And this is where the important part comes up. So you can see the information about the application, how it has been growing. So you get to see the application in traffic, application out traffic, the top 10 that you're seeing. So this is the application growth that I was talking to you about. So it's, as you can see, so something like this, this one app. So yeah, where it is, XTP. So you can see that it's been growing and declining, or at some days it's been growing. So which means you get an idea that it's actually on a growing curve. So it's going to increase. So you can now select how that application is growing, and based on that, you get to work with the network needs, as in if you need to increase the bandwidth capacity or decrease it. So you can check on that and report back. So our product lets you plan your network capacity. That's the capacity planning report. So talking about the next one, which is application visibility and control. So as the name suggests, what is application visibility and control? So this is Cisco's tech. We call it the Cisco AVC, application visibility and control. So what it does is that it's going to look into the packets from the flexible flow, and it's going to break it down in such a way that the HTTP and HTTPS information, the packets, it's going to break it, and it's going to tell you how or what applications have been registered and how much data has come up and things like that. So our product will be in depth. It will talk to you about who are the top talkers for each application, gives you information on the port protocol, all of that. So let me actually show that to you. So as I told you, when you go use Cisco's AVC technology, you get a better visibility into the layer 7 applications in your network. So it's going to, as I told you, you gain visibility by looking into the NBAR2 applications. So the AVC technology that I mentioned. So NBAR2, what it does, or the advanced NBAR, is used to identify web traffic, again HTTP and HTTPS, URLs, file sharing, and random port applications. So any application working on the layer 7 platform, you can have that checked. You can view it by the application. You can look into the URL hit count, the QoS, class hierarchy, the application response time, all of that. And you can ask us, how do you enable that? So you get to enable it by looking into additional fields. So you have the additional fields with version 9 of NetFlow. So you need to make sure that those fields are filled in so you can have these details worked upon. So let me actually show that to you in real time. So you go to inventory, interfaces. You select any one interface that is supporting this feature. So I have one actually, let me take you there. Okay, so you expand to it, you see a tab that is N bar, you can see that information right away. So N bar, why I go here is first to talk to you about the layer 7 traffic. So as you can see, we are breaking down the HTTPS traffic by each application. If you want to compare different applications, you can just turn off the other ones to see how they are. So currently, it looks like in my organization, the Facebook and Gmail usage has been high. So I can even see who are the top talkers for that. So not just the traffic and the volume, we can also go one more layer down and we can see the top talkers who are using Facebook. So this is for the in data, gives you a clear idea on what the port and protocols have been. You can look into the DHCP codes involved and also the traffic for each of the conversation available. So with this being said, I told you that we do have other features. So for that, you need to hop into the AVC tab, the application visibility control. So where we're talking about the QoS stats. So you have the parent QoS, the child QoS set up in such a way that it's going to, have the priority set up in that way. So you can see for each of that QoS class. So you're going to look into all that, the parent and the child. So there, what are the top applications that are contributing to the traffic? You can even see it on a conversation viewer. It's going to talk to you about what each, like which of that particular usage has been very high for this particular QoS class. And you can see that. And as I told you, we also provide application response times, ART. So that's going to talk to you about information like the client package and the server package, the retransmissions, the connections, the responses, and individual traffic. I can even go one more layer down and I can talk to you about what that has been with respect to the client side, or you can also look into the response time, the transmission. So each of that you can drill down and see that information that you see here for that particular application alone. Okay. So also we do have an information for the HTTP host where we look into the HTTP information alone. So let me show you that. So there you go. It's going to talk to you about the HTTP host that have come up for the traffic. Tells you about the connections that is used for this particular host, or how much packets have come up, and how much percentage of traffic. You can even drill down one more layer to see each of the conversation that has been happening for this particular domain. So the HTTP host that is there. So as you can see, just by looking into the packets from the additional, like the S-flow, so you can actually look into the, sorry, my bad, it's going to be the N-bar flexible flow. So once you look into it, you can get almost 4 different parameters that you look into, and you will be able to see the traffic based on that. Now talking to you about the next one, which is quick recap. Monitor HTTP traffic and ART. So we have dedicated tabs to that. It gives you information on that. And coming with the next part, which is tracking the applications that is consuming the most traffic with N-bar. So this is a key feature because you can have many non-business critical applications that are using the traffic. So you can easily identify them using the N-bar technology available. So how do you do that? As I told you, it's going to use this particular feature. This is an add-on again, so this can be done for, if your device doesn't support that, you can actually use SNMP based N-bar. So let me show you. So again, this SNMP based N-bar is an add-on, just to let you know. Oh, as in, if for the essential it is, for enterprise it comes with the product. So as you can see, it's going to break down the information just by looking into the SNMP traffic. It's going to talk to you about the details, like what is the application, what's the traffic, and the percentage of traffic that's there. Okay, so with this you can go ahead and track the applications, and once you've tracked it, what you can do next is going to be traffic shaping. So you can, as you have ACLs on your routers, you can set it up from our device itself just by looking into the detail. So access control list is available. You need to, why you need this is to filter out the excess router traffic by blocking or restricting the IPs or IP network. So that's what you do here. So let me show it to you in person. One moment. So you go to the device that supports it, go to the hamburger menu, select ACL, and you can now do that function. So as I told you, ACL, just like you set up on a device, as you're aware, there is two types, right? The regular ACL and the extended list, so 0 to 99 and 100 to 199. So you can select that and you can go ahead and work with it. So what it will do is once you click on ACL, it's going to use that particular IP, as in like, sorry, it's going to talk to the device. It's going to set the access control list based on the information that you're given, and you can work with the details right there. So once you set it up, you're going to control the traffic right from that particular device, and you can have that set up. As you can see, it's going to show you what you want to work with, standard type or the extended. So you select that, and you can do certain things like you can permit a traffic or deny a traffic. You have the protocols that you have. You can also add in multiple criteria, like a particular source host or a destination or an entire source, like network. You don't want that, you can add that, and you can go ahead and set the ACL. And then once you've set that up, you can also manage your service policies and limit access to applications based on priority. So how you do that is, again, you go to the service policies and you can create a policy of your own. So how you do that, let me show you. So go to the hamburger menu again, service policy. So service policy, what it does is that it will, again, you can first you'll have to create a policy, and then you will be creating a class just like you see here. So first you go ahead, add the policy. It's going to show you the policy details. Then you add the class, and based on that, you can have that work. So what you're basically doing here is you are setting up class-based QoS. So based on your class, you can set up the QoS and you can limit the traffic for the access for certain applications. So once that is done, you can see the traffic in real time. So this is how it will be. You can validate the QoS policies with CBQoS. So class-based QoS, that is. So let me show it to you in real time. It's under the interfaces, just to let you know. So go to the CBQoS tab, and you should be able to see that information. So it will first tell you how it was before you set up the policy. So as you can see, almost every single detail, as in every single class, is going to show a lot of traffic. But after you set that up, it's actually going down. As you can see, some of these are in 100. Some is not 172. We have one in 50. So previously it was all above 170, 180, so like that. So the traffic has gone down, and how much percentage of it, you can see it here under the dropped detail, and you can see it here. Yeah, so you can see how much percentage has dropped. You can see the exact volume also, and you can work with it right there. So as you can see, you can shape your traffic with us, and this is a feature that is available with our Essential Edition, sorry, the Enterprise Edition, which is the distributed. So just to let you know. And coming to the important part, which is wireless traffic monitoring. So you can monitor your wireless LAN controllers with us. So how you've seen on the previous part, where you can monitor physical devices and look into the traffic, the same can be done for your wireless traffic also, the WLCs. So you can manage your traffic with us. So what you need is that you need a Cisco's wireless LAN controller to do this. So what we can show you is information like the top traffic based on the access points, the SSIDs, the applications, clients, etc. So let me show it to you in real time. So for that, you need to go to the WLC tab. So WLC again is an add-on with our product. This is licensed based on the access points. So how it works is that first you will be showing you the controllers. You can drill down to see each access point. So there is a particular access point that I need to look into. I click on it. It's going to show me the traffic for the last 1 hour, just like you've seen before. You can look into the details as you would want. So select the time frame. You get to see the traffic based on every single minute. You can see the top clients that have contributed traffic. If you need to look into the MAC ID, just click on the button. That's going to give you the MAC ID for each of that particular client that you're looking into. You can also group the traffic based on the SSIDs. So if you have all the SSIDs listed, you'll be able to show it to you. Again, there is 2 levels of drill down. So if you want to see for a particular SSID, you can click on it and it's going to show you the top talkers. Same thing with the applications. The top applications that have contributed to traffic for any given wireless LAN controller will be listed here. As you can see, again, 2 levels of drill down available to show you the conversations just for that particular application. You also have the QoS that you can set for your wireless LAN control. That'll be done on the device. We'll be able to show it to you here. And the top talkers. So just like you've seen before on the interface, it gives you complete details about what is the MAC ID, why it is used, what was the client's MAC address, the application, what was the SSID, what was the DHCP before and after, and also you can look into the traffic, individual traffic for each conversation. So you can also group your wireless LAN controllers for easy management. How you do that is very simple. Just go to the NetFlow settings. You'll be able to do that. You might ask us, why do you need to do this at the first place? The simple answer is going to be, it's going to make your life much easier, because you can have that organized, and if in case you need to do take reports, or if you need to troubleshoot for any particular event, or if you need to look into the top talkers for a particular group of devices, so let's say you have key SSIDs that you need to look into the traffic for, and you can simply group them and see that information. So the grouping is available here, settings, NetFlow group settings. So previously we did see about all these, and the last 2 are for your wireless LAN controller. So you can create groups based on the access points. Select which access point you want, and go ahead and click on save by giving a name, and that's going to be your access point groups. As you can see, it's going to give you all that. If you want to group it based on the SSIDs, like certain SSID Wi-Fi networks, that is very important, then you can simply group them. Also, we show you all the SSIDs. Select them, move them across, give it a name, and you're good to go. So that's how easy it is. But why you'll be needing this is, like, if you go to any report with Netflow Analyzer. So previously we did even see about the capacity. You do wireless LAN controllers there. As you can see here, we saw about the capacity planning report earlier. So let me show you that also. So as you can see, wireless LAN devices, you have the groups that we've created, access points and SSIDs. So easy approach to look into your wireless LAN, wireless traffic available for you. So coming to one of the most important parts of NetFlow Analyzer's Enterprise Edition, because this is not available the Essential, just to let you know. This is a part of the Enterprise Edition. So what we do here, or what is Advanced Security Analytics? So let me actually talk to you about it with respect to some details or real-time examples, so that you see the importance of why you need this in your organization at the first place. So in order to do that, first I need to talk to you about what are the common threats that any organization is risk to see. So that is going to be, first one is a DDoS attacks. So any large organization, even something like GitHub, are attacked by DDoS. So DDoS is going to be one of the major risks when it comes to today's networking, in the networking world, that is. So I'll talk to you about what that attack is in detail going forward. So also other attacks are like the scan probes that can happen, and also botnets. So for someone who's new, let me quickly explain what that is. So what a botnet is that you have a hacker who is trying to affect a certain computers in a network. So what he does is that he goes ahead and just throws in a virus on certain certain PCs, and what happens is the hacker will then sell or hire out the botnets to other users or the other criminals who would be using it to do something like for fraudulent activity, for spamming all your computers, or even to do cyber crimes like report and ask for for money, So they can leverage this particular usage and affect your environment on that. So this is one common threat that would come up. And one major thing is the DDoS attack that would come up. So DDoS is going to be distributed denial of service. So hacker, as you can see on the first step, will actually try to do like an infinite ping to almost all the devices within a particular not just ping, like trying to access the devices on a large scale for almost all the devices in your network. So what will happen is this particular response that's coming from all your devices is going to hit your server, and that's going to deny service for users that are there within your network. So it's, as you can see on the fourth step, it is not letting your users, as in users within the intranet, access that, because your server is getting flooded with information, right, for requests from all the other devices that's there. So this is DDoS attack. As you can see, once a DDoS attack happens, it will bring down your entire network for a while, and that's going to affect business on a very large scale. So there's been high details about you know that there's been a lot of attacks that has happened before, like GitHub, that was almost in terabytes that the data was hit. So all of that happens, so you can be aware of why I'm telling you all this is sorry, before that, one more scenario, my bad. We also have scan probes that is there. So what it does is that let's say like a hackertarget.com, which is an online port scanner, so you can test your public address for open IPs. So the attacker, what he'll do is he will use your public IPs to check for open ports, and just like before, he will try to ping every single one of them, and if he is able to find one entry, like one port that's open, and that's it, he can access almost every single devices in your network. So that's about the scan probe. So he does infinite scans. He finds out any one particular port, occupies the port, gets into your network, and that's mayhem for you. So why we're talking about all these reports is all these attacks is because these can affect your environment network in your very large scale, and we do not want that to happen in your environment. So that's where the ASAM or the attacks module comes into place. So as you're aware, we do look into all your flows. So we look into the flows, we are able to report on it. So not just report, this time we will be able to report if an attack is going to happen, because we will be able to like identify any malicious activity or any anomaly that's happening within the flows. And how are we able to do that is using our advanced mining algorithm. So that algorithm has will keep looking for any anomalies, and if it finds out that it's a threat, you can be alerted. Not just alerted, we can also classify it based on suspect flows. Four things here: suspect flows, bad source destination, DDoS attack, and scan probe. So let me actually explain that while showing it to you on the product. So you have this attacks tab. This will be available on your enterprise edition once you select the collector. So as you can see, these are the four ones. One is suspect flows. As the name suggests, if the flow packet doesn't seem normal like usual, so that's when the suspect flow comes in. And we also have bad source or destination. So if any particular source or destination has been blocked in an environment, and if you see ping coming in from that or any request, we will be able to identify it and show you. Scan probe is the last example that I showed you about. So infinite scan comes up, and if any open port is there, then you will be identified. And finally is the DDoS, the denial of service. So we will be able to categorize the attacks based on these four. So let's say there is something like a suspect flow that I'm looking into, or even a scan probe. I select the scan probe. So I select the scan probe. So it's going to show me all the attacks. So what we do here is that we will be able to identify the problems. So let me show it to you in real time. So you go to settings. So I mean, this has to be enabled. So once you enable it, you can actually see the detail. So you go to settings, you have it under the attacks. So what this will do is that it's going to look into the detail in such a way that the mining engine, the program that we have, will identify the threat. It will show you what are the threats. It will also talk to you about what that particular activity was, and you can also look into it this way. Let me show you. Attacks. So first you'll have to enable it. If it's enabled, you can actually see what are the problems that that we can identify, something like TCP requests and multicast flows coming in, ICMP requests coming from like that. And you can, these are the resources that we use in order to, resources as in devices. You look into them. What are the algorithms behind them? So you can see them here. You can also look into the thresholds that we set up for each of them. So it's something like excess ICMP request. You can set up the upper limits for something like the request coming from source. So 100 limits is set up, 100 is the maximum limit. But if you want to work with it even more, so we give you the advanced settings. So it's going to give you every single detail that you can monitor. So you get complete control of what the attacks can be, or you can modify them based on your mechanism. And once you've set this up, you can also set up the alert profiles, where if in case that alert comes up, so if in case an attack comes up, you can have an alert raised. So you can do it for anything, like you can select anything, go ahead with the next step. So what happens next is it will ask you if you need to, look into certain actions, like if that particular source is matching, or if it's a destination that's matching. You have the ports that you can work with, these that like that. And finally, the next step, it will ask you whether you need to get it as an email or an SMS. So that's about the attack settings. Let me quickly talk to you about what the attacks are in the first place. So something like a malformed ICMP or a ping host. So I select that. It's going to talk to me about what that event was, gives you a complete detail. So, and who are the top offenders? You can see that. So all the top offenders, what part of the country, sorry, what part of the world that the attack has come up from. You can look into the top targets within my network that they've tried to access. What are the traffic sources that they've used so far? Any unique connections that have come up, like the source destination, the ports between each conversation, you can look into that, and also field details. So if you need to have complete details to have it, to work on the troubleshooting or work on getting that attack, you can, because this is not the attack happening and reporting. This is going to preemptively alert you. So even before the attack comes up, it can alert you. So using these field details, you can have that worked upon so that you can avoid that particular attack. So going to the next one, which is deep packet inspection. So as the name suggests, this is packet inspection. So which means there are devices that do not support flow technology. Yes. So how do you monitor those devices? Or let's say those devices, your key information that you need might be the latency, because there's going to be a lot of latency. You need to identify where it's coming from, if it's coming from the application end or if it's coming from the network end. So in that case, deep packet inspection would be helpful for you. So as I told you, what causes latency at the first place? So as you know, latency is going to be half the round trip time. So from your client to server, you get a request and it's going to go back. First, it's going to go with like a request. The server gets it, sends out an acknowledgement saying, hey, okay, I've got this request. You have the answer right now. So this particular conversation, this is the round trip time. And half of this is going to be the latency that we're looking into. So if this latency is less, then your network is working at peak performance. So in order to verify that, you can use the DPI. Here again, DPI is an add-on irrespective of what version of Netflow Analyzer you go with. So how does this work? It's very simple. You can use two different mechanisms. One is going to be generating the DPI reports, as in like you can do it using port mirroring. So as you are aware, you have different devices like switches or so. They can have the information mirrored to the switch that is connected directly to the device or the server where our product is installed. So there you will be mirroring the port. Like if you have like a port 24, you're going to mirror that particular port onto the NIC card on this particular server that Netflow Analyzer is installed on. And once that is done, we can capture the packets right away. Or there's an offline mode where you can go ahead and put in the packet capture, and we can have that checked for you. So in order for this to work, you need to have the high perf reporting engine, or we call it the HPRE. So what this HiPerf is going to do is simply going to extend the capabilities of your database. So you can have either Postgres SQL that comes bundled with the product, or you can even have MS SQL. But once you anyway, if you're going to use DPI, you will need the HyperF add-on. So this is going to it's going to increase the capability of your database, and you can work with that detail. So let me show you how it is. So as you can see, end-to-end monitoring with DPI forensics. So before that, let me talk to you about how you do that. So you go to NetFlow. You have to first work with the HyperF reporting engine. Make sure that you can have it enabled on the local host or even a different server. Just make sure that the test passes through after you've installed the HyperF DB server. Once that is done, you come to the DPI, which is here. You select the DPI. You enable it. It's going to ask you the NIC card information and how long you want the packet capture for. So once that is done, you come to the DPI tab where we talk to you about two metrics, which is going to be the information based on TCP or UDP. So let me show you. Yeah, so as you can see, we will split down the data based on TCP or UDP. So any type of traffic protocol that you use, you make sure that what is the network response time and the application response time. So in this case, it looks like the application response time is quite high. I select that, and it's going to break it down based on the URLs, the applications, the source and destination, and the conversation. So let's say I'm selecting something like this to see what was the latency for that particular URL. I get to see that. I can see it based on the volume, speed, packets, the response time information, the top talkers, all of that under one roof. So it's going to give you complete details. So now you can go ahead and work on that latency that's there so that you can get the best performance out of your network. So similar is available for your UDP also. So UDP traffic is also there. You can see the application, source, destination, and conversation. So conversation, again, it's going to show you the entire list of conversation that's happened so far, and you can have that analyzed for latency, as you can see. So you also have reports. So that was the DPI forensics report. Let me show you. So you go to report DPI. So this is a report dedicated for DPI. So you select multiple criteria. So you want to work with TCP, UDP, or both. I select both. You can now work with different criteria. So you can add more than one, and you select what time period you're looking into, and you go ahead and create the report. So once you create a report, it's going to talk to you about just like how you have a forensic report for your regular like part you see in the part one. So it's going to talk to you about the traffic, the top applications, the URL hit counts, also we talked to you about the source, destination, and the conversation. So all of these are available for the DPI, as you can see. Now coming to distributed monitoring, or the final section, with what we do here, or which edition is that, as I told you, we have two editions. One is going to be the essential, second one is enterprise. So essential is standalone for single installation. For enterprise, we call it the distributed version. So you have a setup where you have one central server, and that is going to communicate to multiple remote servers. So this is what the product looks like as in real time if you use it. The central server might be in any of your head office or so, and if you have almost 3 different sites, you can have each collector is just like a standalone. So you have each collector set up on the remote sites, and from the central server you can simply drag down and you can look into that detail right away. So that was about the central server, sorry, the distributed edition. Why you would be needing this at the first place is for high scalability and for centralized console for monitoring. So let me show it to you. So this, what you see here is one of our central servers. So let me log in to show you the information. So central server is, as I told you, is going to be the key server, and the collectors or the probes that we call it is going to be installed on each location. And once you log in, you can actually see something like this. It's going to talk to you about all collectors. So which means if you have more than one collector, you can see all of them under the single roof. Or if you want to see only for that collector or the probe, you select the probe and you can see that information right there. As you can see, it's giving you the information. So anything that you would see on that remote site, you can see it right from here. You can also jump to any particular probe right from the product. So you go to the collector widget, select on this. That's going to open the collector, the probe, and you can log into that. So you can do it that way, or you can simply drag drop and you can look into that detail right away. So all the information, so let's say I'm selecting like the test, I'm going to the inventory. So it's now going to show me the details just like you see here. So it's going to be 4 devices. So once I log in, it's going to show me the 4 devices here. So same, so it's going to give you a greater visibility. So imagine having more than one or even more than two. So you can simply drag drop, go to the one that you want. You can compare the details between it. So as you can see, earlier we saw 4 devices, right? The same count will be listed here because it's the same UI, which is going to look into the data from your collector, and we are going to report back on it. So when you're installing it, you will be first installing the central server, and once that is done, if you're going to install the collector or the probe on the remote side, it will ask you the details for the central server, like the URL and what is the connection details. So once you give that in, it will be mapped. So you will only be putting the license on your central server alone, and once you go to once you install a collector, the license will be pushed to that. So you don't need to make any changes on the collector. Everything will be automated from your central server. So distributed monitoring, as I told you, this is a new feature that we brought in where you can switch to enterprise edition in a single click. Yes, that is right. You just heard it right. So if you have an essential edition at any given point of time, let's say you want to convert it as an enterprise edition, after you purchase the license, you can just come to this page, click on the distributed monitoring. You can enable it as a distributed monitor, and you can have the collector details sent across. So that's how you can work. So on clicking the enable button, the product will be converted to distributed edition, and you can start using it from there. Okay. So comparing the editions for a quick overview. So we have essential and enterprise. Essential is suitable for single networks, enterprise for large networks. You can, and the flow per second, which is an important metric. So you can go up to 50,000 flows per second on the essential. But when it comes to enterprise, for each of your collectors, you can go upwards to at least 80,000. So that's more than the essential itself. One of the key features that comes with the enterprise that's not there on the essential is capacity planning that we saw today, NBAR monitoring, the SNMP based, the CBQoS monitoring, class-based QoS that used to post that one, and you also get the advanced security analytics module that will automatically identify and let you know if there's going to be an attack. So all of these comes part of the enterprise, but if you other ones like the WLC or the IPSLA, they are going to be add-ons. Okay. So a quick summary, as I told you, first we looked into the Medianet and Multicast traffic. We also saw about how the applications are being visualized in our product. We saw about how to shape your traffic with us using ACL, service policies, the CBQoS values. So once that was done, we also looked into the different reports like the capacity planning report. We talked to you about the advanced security analytics module that looks for alerts, for attacks. And also we did look into the DPI, which is going to do packet capture for non-flow supported devices and report them based on the latency. And finally, we had a go at the distributed monitoring that's available with our enterprise edition with Netflow Analyzer. So during the due course, as I told you, thank you for all the questions that has come up. I just wanted to quickly touch base on all the questions that has come up so that they are answered. One major question that came in was what is AVC and what do you see in AVC? So AVC is application visibility control. And what you see in it is your layer 7 traffic, the applications like Facebook, Gmail, or any application. We'll be able to break it down and talk to you about how the usage has been, what are the users, the top talkers, the port and protocol, all of that listed for that. So that's what ABC is being used for. Second question, I am missing the capacity planning report. How do I get it? Yes, if you are in the essential edition, as you saw before, if, the capacity planning report is a part of the enterprise edition alone. So if you don't see it, it means you're in the essential edition. You can just write to us in the email that I'll be talking to you in a few slides from now. Just write to us and we'll talk to you about how you can integrate it. So you can either go to the enterprise edition and we can help you out with that. Question number 3, how to monitor latency? So yeah, good question. Latency can be monitored by using the DPI. So you have the DPI functionality. You give us the packets using screen mirroring, and we'll be able to report to you on the latency of where it is, if it's on the application end or if it's on the network end. So we can talk to you about it using DPI. Question number 4, is there a support for monitoring Meraki wireless devices? Yes, we do. Previously, we did not have that, so we recently brought that in. So Meraki devices, myself have configured it for some customers, and it's working perfectly. So please reach out to us on our support ID by the end of the session. And if you have a Meraki that you need to monitor, we can help you out with that. Question number 5, how to monitor traffic for offices at 3 different locations. That's going to be with the enterprise edition. So you have one central server at your head office and 3 individual sites, like the 3 individual collectors on each site. You can have that monitor just like I told you using the central server itself. Question number 6, how to capture the packets for DPI. So you can do the packet capture using screen mirroring, as I told you. Use the route switches to send out the packets to each of your switches, and the switch that is directly connected to your server, that will be done on a screen mirroring. So it will the NIC card information will be given. So the packet capture will be done directly on our server. We will capture it and we can use it. There is an offline mode too, so let me show you. Yeah, so as I told you, you can use the screen mirroring and you can bring in the packets for your DPI. Question number 7, what type of attacks are detected by NFA? So there are 4 different types of attacks that we show you from the NFA application. One is going to be the, let it come up, bad source or destination. Yeah, so we have bad source or destination, suspect flows, scan probes for inference scans, and DDoS attack. So these are the 4 major metrics which we will be able to report the the attacks on. Question number 8, what do I see in Medianet reports using Netflow Analyzer? So Medianet, as the name suggests, with Cisco's Medianet, you will be able to get greater visibility into the media-rich applications like audio, video that is being used. You can see information like packets, the latency, jitter, all of that. Let me show you. Go to the Medianet tab and you should be able to see the metrics that we're talking about. Yep. So we talked about information like jitter, round trip time, packet loss. Okay. And question number 9, what are all the reports I can see in wireless monitoring? So yeah, wireless monitoring can be used for almost every single report available with our product. So reports, NetFlow. So any report you see here, you can use it wireless LAN controller. So wireless LAN controller for search reports. If you want to create a report of your choice, you can do it using that. You can also use the forensic. You can use the forensics to see what it is. So wireless LAN controller again. Consolidated report we've already seen. We have a wireless LAN controller. You have access point groups. Capacity planning we saw before. If you want to compare reports, you can do that too. So all of that, anything that you need to work with, any report that you're looking into, you can have that work with us. So wireless LAN controller is enabled that. So with this being said, I just want to quickly talk to you about what are the links that you need in order to get help from Netflow Analyzer. So first is the YouTube channel that we have, because this is a recorded session. The details will be sent to you as in the video, and also the transcript will be sent to you over email. But if you need to access it on the YouTube platform of ours, we do have our channel Op Manager Tech Videos, so you can just log into that and you can see the presentation just by the date, today's date. You can put that, you can find it. We have an online help document for our product at help.netflowanalyzer.com. We have our technical community at forums.manageengine.com/netflowanalyzer. So if you have any FAQs, or if there's any discussion that you want to do on our product, you can simply drop in and we will have that answered. Or you can have a simpler approach. You can write to us. Our support mail address is netflowanalyzer-support@manageengine.com, and any sales related queries for product purchase or product upgrade or renewal, you can simply send out an email to us at sales@manageengine.com. Or if you want to call us and get support, please note down the numbers. It's going to be +1 888 720 9500. And also another direct number that was a toll free. The direct number is 408 916 9400. So you can reach out to us, listen to the IVR. There is it'll ask you which product you want to go with. Press the number for Netflow Analyzer and you can reach us right there. So with this being said, I would like to thank each and every one of you who has joined for today's presentation and also had joined in for the previous presentation. So thank you for coming in on these two parts. So looking forward to meet you all on the next session on Netflow Analyzer. Again, any queries, please do write to us at netflowanalyzer-support@manageengine.com. Thank you and have a great day.